property was mainly purchased by us to save horses.
The majority of the damage was caused by the earthquake.
We have a seismic report
We have a
for
seismic
the earthquake
report.
that happened.
These are two of the 38 or 40 chickens that they left on the premises when they moved.
It was a filthy mess. It was a filthy mess.
That's completely unreasonable.
If you want to fight, I can get you boxing gloves, but we're not here for that. My first case ever with worms.
Come here, Sophie! Get him, Rusty!
Can I say something?
No. If she hadn't had an oral agreement, how do you do? You were the landlord and the defendant, the tenant?
Yes.
Was there a written lease?
Yes.
May I see it?
Yes, certainly.
You had a written lease, ma'am?
Yes, correct, I have it.
You have a copy of it?
Yes, I do, sir.
You and your husband sign it?
Yes, he did.
So they moved out at when?
Well, actually, they moved into a house I owned in January of 1992, and they stayed there until the end of September '93. They wanted a larger house. This one was becoming available. I showed it to them.
Well, ma'am, we're only interested in this last house.
They paid $495, and in 13 months they gave me an occasional extra $20, and I couldn't. The property wasn't carrying itself.
But ma'am, you're suing for rent.
So
one of the items you're suing for is rent.
Right.
How much rent?
Well, $700.
But your complaint says $260.
Because that's all that they owe. That was for the extra time that they did not.
What was the extra time?
Well, they were supposed to be out June 30th, and they were not.
When were they out?
They returned the keys to me on the 11th of July. They wrote a note with the keys saying that they left them in my mailbox.
So the rent you're asking for, the $260, is between June 30th and July 11th?
Right.
Do you owe that much rent, ma'am?
I don't believe that we owe that, no.
Did you move out on June 30th? I mean, did you give notice that you were going to move June 30th?
Yes, we did.
Did you actually move on July 11th?
No, we did not.
When did you move?
We tried to get all of our belongings out. We had to have a police escort on June 27th. Our things were, I have pictures where our things were put out in the front.
No. I want to know when you actually left the premises, ma'am.
We left the premises prior to the 30th, but we still had some of our things there because we were afraid to go back.
When did you go back?
To pick up our rabbit, which was the last thing.
The house was empty on the 30th.
Yes, the house was empty on June the 30th. The only thing that we had was
Did you turn over the keys?
Excuse me?
Did you?
No.
You're going to have to control that dog. I don't know. Did you have the dog on the premises?
Yes, we did.
And the horse?
Not that horse, no.
Any horse?
Yes.
How many horses?
I believe at the time there
They're
were...
not our horses, though.
No, they're not our
They're
horses.
not our horses.
Okay, they're not your horse.
None of the horses
no.
are our horses.
What's the purpose of having the horse here?
I don't know. It's not.
Is it your horse?
Yes, it is.
What's the purpose of having the horse here?
The property was mainly purchased by us to save horses, starved horses, horses that were abused.
What is the purpose of having the chickens here?
These are two of the 38 or 40 chickens that they left on the premises when they moved.
What are you're alleging $3,014.14 damages.
Yes.
$260 is rent?
Yes.
What's the balance?
Well, the rest
Your
are
complaint
damages.
says $208.62 for bills. What are those bills?
Water and power and gas.
What is your position here, sir?
I take care of the maintenance on the property. I'm a general contractor that I do a lot of work for her.
Okay.
Yes, it was the utilities.
Utilities. You have copies of those bills?
I have everything.
Were you to pay utilities, Ms. Mateus?
Yes, this is correct.
Do you owe that $208.62 for utilities?
I don't believe I do. I have a receipt here showing that Al, which is my husband, gave Mrs. Lander, which I'm looking for, $300 cash.
Did you get a receipt?
Yes,
I
I have
did.
a signed receipt. Yes, sir.
Did you get $300 cash?
Yes, I did on
When was
June
that?
17th.
What are the rest of your damages that you're alleging here, ma'am?
Well, 3 windows had something thrown through them, large holes. I have the photographs.
Through 3 what?
Windows.
Okay, let me see the photographs.
Okay. And holes punched in the walls.
You have pictures of those too?
Yes, it's all there, Your Honor.
When were these pictures taken, Ms. Lander?
I took them in June.
Do they depict what your place looked like on 22nd and 23rd of June?
Not to the best of my recollection. What took place was there was major construction that was going on at that address there. There was a new roof that was being put on.
The whole top of the house was removed and exposed, and there was crews working on the house that created incredible cracking and dusting, and we basically...
When was that, sir?
This was, we had 2 days' notice while this happened, and...
When, sir? Please.
It was the middle, it was June. It was the middle part of June. I believe, to the best of my recollection. I'm sorry, I didn't, but it was in
Beginning of
June.
June, I think.
Was it after you left on the 17th?
We had to leave because of that.
We left because of that.
We didn't let her know that, but we did.
When I finally was able to get in to inspect the house, I hadn't been in there in 5.5 years, I saw that there was a problem with some leaks, which had never been reported by the tenants. And so I immediately got a roofer out. He completed the work in 1 day.
The roofing was your responsibility?
Oh, yes. I would certainly.
Who did all this other work that you've listed here? Damages?
I
Mr.
did.
Goodall.
You did all the work?
Yes, except for the painting.
Who made this list up?
I did.
This invoice, ma'am, you have certain items in yellow. What is
Yes.
that? What are those items?
Because those are the items that I felt Matus was responsible for. And the other ones were additional work to restore the property to what it had been before they moved in.
You're not saying that they're responsible for those?
Only the highlighted ones, Your Honor.
Okay. Have you seen this?
I have copies of all of her invoices, yes.
Do you disagree with any of this?
Absolutely, yes, because we feel that the majority of the damage was caused by the earthquake.
We have a seismic report
have a
for the
seismic
earthquake that
report.
happened on the house. This house is 80 years old, and we have
We
a
have
lot.
pictures
If you
of
can just look at,
foundation.
Wait, one of you at a time.
it's
Excuse
fine.
me.
Just hand him this. That's all.
Okay,
He can look for himself.
okay. We have pictures of the foundation. We have a little...
What you talking about the 94 earthquake?
That's
Yes.
correct.
This is
That's
when all
correct.
this
Nothing
damage
was
took
done
place.
to the house.
Did you ever notify her about the damage
I
because
was-
of the earthquake?
I was actually afraid to because...
No, I asked you if you did.
No, not...
We didn't want the house red tagged because of our animals, and if we did, we really had no other place to go. And
Basically,
it
that was the
kind of,
position
you know,
that
we
we're
were in a
in.
bad position. And
How many animals did you have?
at that time, we had 2 dogs,
We had Bandy.
2
and-
cats,
Right, and that's it. And Trix.
and a couple chickens.
Yes.
Not 40 chickens, but
How many
three-
chickens?
3 chickens.
3 chickens.
Yes.
Yes.
You knew that they had these animals on the premises?
Not until I went to check on the property.
When you rented the property, you didn't know they had animals?
All I knew is that they had 2 dogs.
When did you first find out that they had other animals?
I would say in 97.
You did nothing about it?
Well, I told them they had to confine them. They had 2 roosters confined in a cage this size, 2 big roosters. I wrote them a letter. By that time, they had 38 chickens.
38, you counted them.
Well, they were moving around pretty much, but yes, I counted them. There were 38 chickens.
There was a good 40 chickens.
Good 40.
Excuse me?
There's a big difference between 3 chickens and 40 chickens.
Okay, the owner of 2 of the horses works up the street at the Red Barn and Feed and Saddlery, and we have all of the file of, in her writing, of the chickens.
They
Her
were also
pictures,
her
these were all
chickens.
of her chickens, not our chickens.
What do you have from her?
We have, well...
We were basically
You have a
just
statement from her that
caretakers.
they were her chickens?
This
No,
whole
we-
file is
we
is
have
basically in
receipts.
her writing with receipts.
Well, I can't accept that.
No, we
Well,
don't have a
there's-
statement from her, no. No, I'm sorry.
How about the damages, sir? I'd asked you if you looked at
Yes,
that
I looked
list.
at the list, and I did 90% of those repairs on that list. The property was in pretty bad condition. The holes were kicked in the walls in many places, doors were missing, a lot of corrosion on the bathroom cabinets, and it was a filthy mess. It was a filthy mess.
How long have you worked for the plaintiff?
Since probably about 1981, I think. Every time she rents them, she puts them in very good condition. I don't do any other rental repairs except for this lady. There was a mountain of trash left on the property for many days after the 30th.
Which was Abe's boat and yacht equipment, right?
There was
Wasn't not my stuff.
there
We'll
was
take a
all
short
kinds
recess.
of
I'll come
rotted
back and
wood,
give you my decision.
chairs, all kinds of stuff in
a
there.
lot of boat chairs, right?
Some stray dog jumped my wall and bred my dog.
The dog had a pyometra, which is an infected uterus, and it also had a grapefruit-sized tumor.
And the veterinarian tried to explain to me, but he was pointing at a diagram with a pointer.
Remain seated and come to order. This court is again in session.
Plaintiff here is suing for rent, utilities, and damages to rental property. There was a mountain of evidence, maybe even some that I didn't see, I don't know. Some of the evidence was relevant, some of it was not. There's an old saying, apparently by Confucius, that a picture is worth 1,000 words. The pictures here, the before and after pictures that I saw, shows that the defendants lived in filth. They had what looked to me like a commercial junkyard, and they created damage to the property. Credibility is an issue here. It depends on who I'm to rely on and what the statements that were made. The witness for the plaintiff impressed me a great deal. I think, although he works for the plaintiff, does only repairs to houses that she owns, rental property that she owns, nevertheless, he came across to me as being quite honest and forthright. I think that the damages have been proven. Rent plus utilities. Judgment is for plaintiff for $3,014.14.
Thank you.
I feel that the earthquake of '94 just rattled that 100-year-old house into cracks. How can tenants create structural cracks in houses by living in there? It's impossible. He didn't look at the pictures, and that's basically what he just didn't look closely at the pictures. I have the seismic reports and the blueprint of the house that I drew up right there, which he never received. So I'd like to appeal this, actually.
You do what you think is right for people at the time, and if they don't appreciate it or they...
Does that include throwing our furniture out in the dirt and throwing all of our belongings out in the dirt on the street 2 weeks before we're supposed to move out, to where I have to call the police and have you and the cleaning crew and everybody removed from our house? How do you think we feel, Mrs. Lander? 6
police
years,
arrived.
never late, 1 day on our rent for 6 years.
A very hysterectomy was performed, but it was a very abnormal, infected, and life-threatening uterus.
You know, you could have pulled that bag of guts out of a garbage can for all I know. I don't know where this is from my dog. I brought her in here for a spading.
The Animal Court is now in session. The Honorable Joseph A. Wapner, Judge presiding.
Good morning. I know you've both been sworn. I've read your complaint, ma'am. You're complaining about the defendant that performed surgery on your dog was not authorized?
Yes.
What was the surgery that was performed?
I brought the dog in to have a spading done. Some stray dog jumped my wall and bred my dog, and it was an Austrian Shepherd, and I couldn't find the owners, so I had to get the situation taken care of. I didn't want her to have
This was the dog?
Yes, this is the dog. And so I called around. I would have taken her to a normal vet. They were all $80, and I was getting laid off, so I decided this one vet which is Dr. McEwen's office, Palmdale Veterinarian, said that it would be $60. So I thought, well, you know, since I have to...
I asked you what surgery was performed.
Oh, a spading. Spading of the dog.
That's all that was done?
That's all I took her in for.
No, I didn't ask you what you took her in for. I said what was done. You're complaining the surgery was performed that was not authorized. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right. What was the surgery that was performed that was not authorized?
I don't think they told me. When I went to pick the dog up...
What was the surgery that was performed, doctor?
The dog had a pyometra, which is an infected uterus, and it also had a grapefruit-sized tumor. I can show pictures of that later, illustrations of it.
What surgery was, you removed the...
An ovarian hysterectomy was performed, but it was a very abnormal, infected, and life-threatening uterus.
Okay. Did you notify her before the surgery that you were going to do it?
The procedure, yes, but the procedure was not discovered, Your Honor, until the doctor was in surgery at the time.
I don't quite follow you.
I don't know if I should first say that I'm amending for $475.34.
What is that for, sir?
Defendant's claim on the money that she owes me, plus interest of the last 2.5 years.
You've never paid the bill?
No.
If you haven't paid the bill, what are you suing for $467 for? That was the amount of the bill, correct?
That's what he says.
That's what he says.
That's what he says.
Well, that's what he's alleging. I'm going to allow him to amend, well, really not amend, I'm really allow him to file a countersuit for that amount because you haven't paid it. Is that correct?
I paid for a spading, and I ended up paying $100, which he told me it was $60 on the phone. They left a message for me on my answer machine saying that they had some complications. I was at a job fair. I didn't get this message till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And when I called there, they said that it would be $400 and some. I said, wait a minute, you had no right to do anything else but spade her. And when I went in, she was ready. I went in to pick her up. They had a bag of guts sitting on the counter when I went to go pick her up, which I was like totally in shock because I've never had to look at this kind of thing from just having a dog done surgery. So when I went back, they said that the veterinarian wanted to talk to me. So I went back into the back room and they had the same bag of guts sitting in there like a freezer bag sitting on the table. And the veterinarian tried to explain to me, but he was pointing at a diagram with a pointer saying that this was the problem with your dog, and I said, you know, well, you could have pulled that bag of guts out of a garbage can for all I know. I don't know where this is from my dog. I brought her in here for a spading, and you had no right to do it any further.
Was it an emergency, sir?
Yes, sir.
Was there any kind of an agreement signed in advance that if it was an emergency that you could go ahead and perform?
As strongly recommended by the California Board of Veterinary Examiners and the California Veterinary
I'm
Medical
asking you whether you had an
Association.
agreement with her about it.
I do, sir. And we have client registration form. This is the original form signed by her wherein it is stated, I hereby also authorize the performance of such surgical, therapeutic, and diagnostic procedures as you deem to be indicated, and I assume full financial responsibilities for all such charges. We also have a signed surgical and anesthetic release that also has a similar statement to perform surgical procedures as deemed necessary and additional procedures as are considered therapeutically or diagnostically necessary on the basis of findings during the course of said evaluation. Also as a form to sign pre-anesthetic blood tests which were declined by Denise Babbitt.
Babbitt, I'm going to show you these two things. One it says client registration form. The other is authorization for medical and or surgical treatment. Ask you if you signed these.
Yes, that's my signature.
Pardon?
That's my signature.
Did you read these before you signed them?
Probably not.
Probably not.
No, probably not.
You realize when you sign something, you're bound by it?
Right?
Did you, having seen these now, do you realize that what you signed?
I guess that is what I signed, if that's what it all says.
What I don't understand is how you can sue for a bill that you didn't pay for.
The bill that they said that I owed, I told the
No, the 467 you're suing for, ma'am, you didn't pay that, did you?
No, I didn't pay that. And
That's what I don't understand, how you can sue him for that amount. I can understand why he'd sue you for it. That's why I'm allowed him to do that. But I can't understand why you would sue for that.
When I went to the Antelope Valley Court to file this, they said, what is the total amount that you're suing for? I said, well, what he's suing me for, he's suing me for $457, which is, the only reason I was suing him is because he put it on my TRW. I was refinancing my house. And what can I sue him for but what he's suing me for, or what he has on my TRW?
Okay. The dog is well now?
Yes, the dog has been well ever since she had her. She was never sick.
Ever since the surgery?
Yeah, she's never been sick.
Well, a lot of people have never been sick, and they finally discover someday to their dismay that they have cancer. Suddenly, just comes out of the blue. This is a relatively simple case as far as I'm concerned in the law. We have plaintiff has a dog, takes it in for a certain procedure, and the vet determines that emergency surgery is necessary to save the dog's life. Tries to reach the defendant tries to reach the plaintiff, can't reach her, but so the vet goes ahead and performs the surgery. The plaintiff, before this whole thing started, signs an authorization for medical and surgical treatment in case of an emergency. She agrees to pay for it. She signed 2 forms agreeing to it. She's not sure whether she read them or not, but she's bound by them having signed them. My judgment is for the defendant on the on the lawsuit that plaintiff filed, and on his countersuit, judgment for the defendant against the plaintiff for $475.
I never had any idea. She never showed any signs of being sick. And I was in shock when I first came in there because they had a bag of guts sitting there. And it's like I probably didn't hear anything that the veterinarian was saying. He was just pointing at things on a diagram of a dog. And it's like all I could tell the veterinarian there is that he must have got those things out of a bucket for all I'm concerned. You had no right to go on any further. You should have stitched her back up. You know, I needed to know what they were doing to my dog, because all I know is that I sent her in for a spading.
It's the fact that Candy is alive 2.5 years later after a major life-threatening procedure, and a tumor the size of a grapefruit is reward to all of us. It's a shame when you try and contact owners and you can't. Oftentimes veterinarians are forced with making life and death decisions. We chose for life. The owner would have wanted the dog destroyed or just sewn back up, which would have been malpractice for us to have just sewn a dog that was going to die up for certain death. We had signed authorization to do it. We did it.